friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle and welcome to Bookmas Part 2. This video is going to be a little different. My plan originally was to make like another reading vlog for Bookmas Part 2, but then I girl bossed too close to the sun and realized I had so much coming up for like the last 2 weeks of December, and I was like, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to vlog for the next 2 weeks. But I did end up reading 3 books, and I'm thinking of making this into a chatty vlog, and I'm going to combine this with a tier ranking all of my 2024 reads. So my original plan was to make this a reading vlog and then make a third video where it was just me ranking all of my reads. But again, I'm girl bossing too close to the sun. I'm biting off more than I can chew. Let's just combine the 2 videos. Y'all just gonna hear me yap. Pure book yapping and book ranking. I'm excited. So the first book I read and ended up finishing was Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. I mostly listened to this on Hoopla, and guys, it was so steamy and hot, and I ended up giving this 4 stars. It was initially a 5-star read, like I want to say 50 to 60% of the way through. I haven't even told y'all yet what the book is about. Like, I think I did in my previous vlog, but just in case y'all haven't seen the previous vlog, basically it's I want to say it's a dark romance light. Like, it's not full-blown dark romance, but it does have dark romance tropes and tendencies. And it's about this guy named Josh, and he does screen face thirst traps on TikTok. And then we followed this trauma nurse named Allie, and she's like obsessed with him. Like, she is like his #1 fan, always watching his videos and commenting on his videos. And she is at the time hooking up with Josh's roommate, and obviously she doesn't know that Josh is the ghost face TikToker, and she sends a message to his roommate about like, oh, would you wear a mask and come to my house and like, you know, get nasty? And the roommate shows the text to Josh, and he's like, dude, like, I'm not into this shit, blah blah blah. And then Josh is like, oh, and then he starts stalking her. And I know it sounds weird. The premise is weird. The premise, if you're not into dark romance, the premise is gonna be weird to you. And no, it was just hot and fun. And the voice actor for Josh, oh my god, he had me sweating like a sinner in church at work, because I listened to that thing at work, and it was so good. Like, Josh was honestly the star of the show, and I rarely like male characters in romances. Like there's like a few where I'm like, I love him, but it's rare for me to like them. And Josh, I fell in love with him. You guys have to listen to this on Audible. Like I didn't read this physically, and I feel like if I didn't read this, like if I didn't listen to the book, I probably wouldn't be too into it. But both voice actors for both characters were amazing. The chemistry was so good. It was so hot, and yeah, like, that was a 4-star read. The reason why I bumped it down from a 5-star to a 4-star, because it was 5 stars in the beginning, was because I want to say near like the 60% mark, it kind of like turned away from like that stalker romance to, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but crime got involved. I'll keep it vague. Crime got involved, and more people got involved in a certain crime, and it went from like a stalker, like sexy, steamy romance to like a crime happening romance thing. And that section of the book kind of like brought down that rating, because I mean, it's interesting, and it definitely does build up to book 2, which I'm going to buy 100%. Like, book 2, like, I'm gonna read book 2. But you can tell that like the last 60% was to build up background for book 2, and I don't necessarily mind it, but it just like, the tone kind of changed for me, and it was still good, it was still interesting, but that seemed to be the complaint from what I read on Goodreads after I finished it and rated the book, I saw that a lot of people had the same complaint about like the book taking a turn away from the stalker romance to more of a criminal thing. A lot of people kind of ended up disliking that. I didn't mind it too much, but it did take away from like the steamy hotness from the beginning of the book. And this is also a rom-com and it's hilarious, but I will say that the last 50-60% of the book it wasn't cringy at first. Like I was enjoying it, wasn't cringy, the humor was fine, but at that last, like the last parts of the book, the humor kind of dialed up a little bit, and moments where humor wasn't needed, and it just got a little cringy and a little like annoying. And I'm like, a joke, there's some serious shit going on right now, hold off on the jokes, it's not funny right now. So yeah, that's why I brought it down a star. But like if we didn't have all that extra humor, like they were doing too much with the humor near the end. And the book, I also felt like the book was too long. Adding that criminal aspect to the end of the book made it like another 150 pages longer. I feel like if it just, you know, if the stalker romance was just the main thing and it was 150 pages like shorter, 5-star read. But it was longer than necessary. Humor ramped up in moments it didn't need to be. The criminal aspect to it, you know, changed the tone of the book. It was still steamy and hot, and I still highly recommend it. 4 stars, still loved it. And yeah, like I can't wait for book 2. I think it comes out May or sometime in the spring. So like I'm looking forward to that. And we're gonna be following Allie's cousin, and that's where the criminal aspect of it goes in, because they're like, Allie's family is like criminal, they're in the crime, I'll leave it there in case it's a spoiler. I'll leave it there. And so I'm interested to see how book 2 is gonna go. And the second book I ended up reading was actually a reread, because I was like, I'm gonna end the year on a good note. I don't want to end the year reading a shitty book. And I decided to read Ice Planet Barbarians. And yeah, loved every minute of it. Like I read this 2 years ago, and just I'm part of this Discord, and we were just talking about monster romances and Ice Planet Barbarians, and I'm like, oh, I need to read the first book and I'm gonna continue the series. So I read it. First read, I gave it 4 stars. Second read, I still give it 4 stars. I do want to say, if you want to get into Ice Planet Barbarians, check your trigger warnings, because there is like a grape scene, and that's one of the reasons why I never gave it a 5-star in the first place, because of that first scene of the book. It is like, it's not graphic, it's like off screen, but personally I don't think books in media should have like sexual assault and grape scenes, unless it's like that's the point of the story or something. I don't know, it didn't feel necessary to me, so that's why like I knocked it off a star the first time, and again I'm still keeping it a 4-star reading. But just check your trigger warnings, especially when you read monster romances and dark romances, always check your trigger warnings. But yeah, it's like, still had a great time. It was hilarious. I forgot how funny this book was, and I forgot how like good the lore was too. I was like, oh my god, like I forgot that like the world building was good. And I ended up annotating, not a lot, but I annotated some favorite quotes. I don't think I can show you guys what the quotes are, because I don't want my video to get flagged, because a lot of them are inappropriate. But yeah, great time. If you aren't familiar with Ice Planet Barbarians, it's about this girl named Georgie, and it's not just her, it's her and a bunch of women that got abducted from Earth, from these aliens that are, you know, going to traffic women to other alien planets. And their haul got dumped in this ice planet, and Georgie calls the planet not Hoth because she's a Star Wars fan. So if you're a Star Wars fan, there's a lot of Star Wars references in this book. And she calls the planet not Hoth because it's just ice. And her and a bunch of the girls survive the crash. And she goes out and looks for help, because everybody else is like banged up really bad, and she's hurt, but she can like leave the hall. And yeah, she goes on an adventure to go find some help, and then she meets Vektal. I'm pretty sure I'm saying his name wrong. Vektal. And he is the chief of the tall, sexy, 7 feet blue aliens. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. If you guys like a spicy alien good time, there's 22 books in the series. I highly recommend it. I'm thinking of making a video where I read all 22 Ice Planet Barbarian books, so stay tuned for that. That is in the works. And I wanted to show you guys something real quick. So I was again watching one of my favorite booktubers, Spicy Cat Reads, and she had a special edition of Ice Planet Barbarians, and I was like, oh my god, I need to get it. And obviously, as we see right here, I purchased it. I purchased this special edition off of Era Books. I'll definitely leave the link down below. And yeah, I think it's also like you have all this in here, and it's signed by Ruby Dixon herself. I was like, gagged. So yeah, got the end pages, and I love the sprayed edges. Like, they're so beautiful. And then like this part's raised, and it's on the hardcover. Like, this is not like a book sleeve or a dust jacket. And it comes like a little ribbon bookmark, and there's Vektal right there. And yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And they still have copies up. Like, last time I checked, they're still selling the special edition. So if you guys haven't gotten a copy yet, you better get a copy if you're an Ice Planet Barbarian fan. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful. It's a prized possession. And yeah. And then I was like scrolling on Kindle Unlimited because sorry, because I still wanted to read something, because I still had a few days left. Today is December 29th. I should have started the vlog with that. Today is December 29th. We have 2 days left, and I think it was Friday. Yeah, today's Sunday. Friday, I was bored. I was at home bored, and I was like, I want to read something, but I don't want to start a big book and not finish it for 2024. And I was like, but I did finish Ice Planet Barbarians. That was supposed to be like me going off with a bang for 2024. And then I saw that Kimberly Lemming, who wrote the Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human trilogy, she has a winter Christmas novella in that world. And I was like, oh my god. And I got it, and I read it. Mistletoe. And it's the same artist who did her other cover arts for her trilogy. And apparently it did have, the old cover had like the indie artists do it, and then I checked her Instagram, and she just relaunched this novella with the new cover art. It's still indie, like there's no publishing company, it's still like considered indie, but I love that it has the other artists' work on here, so it's gonna match perfectly with the trilogy. And it was such a great time. Like, it's short. I think it's only 87 pages long, and I flew through this in like 2.5 hours. I knew Kimberly Lemming never lets me down. Okay, like she never does. Like, I wasn't even nervous when I found out that there was a Christmas novella. I was like, perfect, this is gonna be the last book of 2024. Blew through this. I was cracking up the entire time. My husband was like, what are you laughing about? I'm like, you're not gonna understand because you're not a monster romance girly. Even though I did tell him, I told him some of the quotes, because I did end up annotating this, and there were so many quotes that had me cracking up, y'all. Like, this book had me cracking up. So we're not following any of the characters from the original trilogy. These are all like original side characters. We're following Ruby, who is a smithy, and she works with her father, who also is a blacksmith. And basically the weapons that her father creates are cursed to say sex jokes and be crude and gross, because her father decided to go into the mines one day and steal from the fox demon Luca. And Luca basically caught him stealing and was like, this shit is mine, you're in my territory, you're stealing from me, so I'm gonna curse you. And he cursed him with any kind of weapon he makes, talks, and makes sex jokes. And it's so funny. Like, it's not cringy or anything like that. So then Ruby is like, you know what, let me go apologize on your behalf, because the father is basically banned from walking into the forest. Like, he cannot walk into the forest without getting attacked by nature, because the fox demon controls nature. And so she goes to the forest and she gets in contact with Luca, the fox demon, and he asks for a deal in order for him to lift the curse. Yeah, it's just a short book full of fun, spicy scenes. Obviously, it's a short book, so it is insta-lovey, but I didn't mind it this time just because everything else was super funny. It's supposed to be a short, good time. It did what it was supposed to do. It delivered. I gave it 4 stars, and I was like, all right, this ends my 2024 reading year, because I don't want to jinx it and read something else and then it sucks. So 4 stars, for real. This is the last book of 2024. Ended it with a bang. Absolutely loved it. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I think the whole trilogy and the novella is on Kindle Unlimited if you guys want to check out Kimberly Lemming's work. She's so funny. The world building is so good, and yeah, so that's it, guys. I know in my previous vlog I mentioned that I was waiting for a hold for Gathering of Shadows, which is book 2 in the Shade of Magic trilogy, and it finally came in, and I'm like, it's the end of the year, like there's only 2 days left. I'm not gonna read it right now. And not only that, I have to start reading Iron Flame to prepare for Onyx Storm, which is coming out at the end of January. I'm trying to figure out what my reading plans, how I should structure my reading in January. I think I am going to start listening to Iron Flame. It's on Hoopla, so it's ready for me to download it and to click play. So I'm ready. And I also have to start reading, these titles are long, The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. I think I got it this time. I think I got it. And I'm just like, oh, this is what happens when you're like in the middle of so many series. You're just like overwhelmed. You're like, oh my God, there's so many new releases coming out. So I'm debating if I should come back to the Shades of Magic world in February. So I think the plan is for January, listen to A Songbird and a Heart of Stone, and to listen to Iron Flame in preparation for Onyx Storm. And then obviously after I finish Iron Flame, and then jump into Onyx Storm. That seems to be the plan for January. And obviously if I can fit in like another book, I will, which leads me to another project. I have 2 more things to show you guys before we start tier listing my reads. Actually, no, 3 things. Because I'm a yapper. Look how cute. Little vintage clowns. So this used to have flavored beans. And I know you're probably like, okay, Michelle, what the hell does this got to do with anything? Well, I was looking through my bookshelf because I'm also planning on doing a reorganizing my bookshelf video, because it's just, they're looking kind of weird. They're looking messy and unorganized, and I don't like it. And I was like, oh man, I should probably like unhaul some more books. But I was like, wait, let's be smart and let's make a TBR jar. I've seen people make TBR jars, and that's helped with knocking out some physical books that have been unread. And I decided to make it a challenge for myself in 2025 to clear out my physical TBR, because I cannot, I mean, I can buy more books, but should I buy more books? Probably not, especially since I only am working with a minimum amount of space in my house. Like, sadly, I wish I had hella bookshelves to put hella books, but I don't. I only have 2.5 bookshelves to work with. And I mean, I know you're probably like, oh my God, Michelle, you only have 2.5 bookshelves to work with. Listen, I need like 2 more bookshelves, okay? So hold the judgment, hold the judgment. Anyways, I decided to write down my entire physical TBR that I have not read. And I didn't count. I don't want to count. But this list is a lot. These are all the books that are on my 2.5 bookshelves that I have not read. And I put like a little star, a little asterisk to some books because those are series. So the plan is, I'm not gonna do it on camera. Obviously I'm gonna do it off camera because it's gonna take a while. I'm gonna cut these little strips with book titles and wrap, like just fold them, put them in this cute little clown bean tin jar. Look how cute it is. And obviously I know I'm already working through 2 books right now. Well, a few. I'm in the middle of a lot of books. Anyways, if I feel like I have time or a moment to shove in a book in what I'm currently reading, I am going to shake this tin jar up, pull a folded piece of paper, and make it a challenge to read whatever I pull. The only exception I'm going to make is that if I pull one with a star, I can, you know, make the choice of putting the fold back in because that's a series, and I'm in the middle of like 3 or 4, and I'm just like, I don't want to overwhelm myself. So I'm giving myself that exception that if I pull a folded paper that has a star on it, I can put it back, shake it up, and pull something else that is just a one-off book. Like there's nothing in the series. And I'm hoping by challenging myself, I can blow through my TBR, and I'm going to try to make a book unhaul video later in 2025. I don't want to unhaul books and not give it a chance. I mean, there's like 1 or 2 books I looked at recently where I'm like, I know I'm not gonna read that. I did not even put it on the list. I'm like, it's not gonna happen. We're letting it go. But everything else are books I'm still interested in. I'm such a mood reader. And all these new books keep coming out and they keep grabbing my attention, and I'm like, let's focus on our physical TBR. I don't think I'm gonna knock the whole, like this is a lot of books. I don't think I'm gonna knock them out in a year. That's just not possible. But it'd be nice to start knocking this list down. And then I'm thinking of doing like a book unhaul by the half-year mark. So June, if there's still certain books on here where I'm like, I'm gonna, you know, review them, review my bookshelf, and be like, all right, let's chop. I'll do it. But yeah, so I'm excited for this new challenge, and we'll see what happens because I'm the biggest mood reader to have ever walked on this earth. And I don't know. I thought it'd be cute. I thought it was a cute idea. So, I thought it was a cute idea. So I'll probably show you guys in like a next clip. Probably not. I'll probably show you guys in the next vlog that I make when I actually like complete this little thing. And yeah, I guess we'll try it out next month or February or whatever. And yeah, I'm excited for this little challenge. And the next 2025 thing I want to do is finally work on a reading journal. So I was gifted this for my birthday, and I didn't write in it because I was like, I want to do like a fresh start in the new year. So I saved it literally for January, and I bought some stickers, or still on the way from the mail, to, you know, personalize this and make this cute and whatever. It has I think 52 pages. Like obviously it's not 52 pages, but it has like 52, let me see if I can show you. Like it has 52 pages like this, where you put your thoughts and then the name of the book, the details, all these other questions, like a way to properly rate this book. And it has 52 pages of that. So with that being said, my Goodreads goal of 2024 was 30 books. And because there's 52 of those review pages, I'm gonna make 52 my new goal. So will I reach that goal? I don't know. We will find that out together. Yeah, I'm really excited for this because it has like trackers, like obviously like you can write down the books and then the star ratings, and then a daily reading tracker, and then it has this cute like little book stack. And I've seen people, and I follow booktubers who do it all like manually. I do not have the drawing and creative skill to do that. That's why I bought it pre-made. Okay, but I bought the stickers, y'all. I bought stickers. I still bought like pins and stuff to personalize it, but I applaud, okay? Applaud those who are artistic and can do this from their brains, because I can't even draw stick people. Reading journal 2025. I'm gonna also include some B-roll journaling in my content, so very excited about that. And then for real, last thing before we start tier ranking, for Christmas, my dear husband got me some more of the Full Metal Alchemist Full Metal editions. And I know I mentioned it before that I want to do a Full Metal Alchemist video where I just read the whole volumes. That is still in the works. I'm trying to collect all, I think it's 16 volumes for the Full Metal editions. So I still need to collect more. But once I have all of the editions, because I want to do like a marathon, like I want to run through the whole volumes. So I'm building my collection first, and once I have those books, I'm going to go ahead and start recording. And I think I'm going to make it spoiler filled, because I was thinking about the logistics behind it, and there is no way for me to do like a good in-depth Full Metal Alchemist reading vlog without spoiling stuff. So if y'all are interested in reading Full Metal Alchemist or whatever, go ahead and do it, because it's gonna be a spoiler filled vlog. So that is coming soon, guys. Okay, I promise you guys one last thing. My bestie let me borrow his Heartstopper volumes. There's 5. He has all 5, but for now he let me borrow 3. So I will be reading these soon as well. I probably won't make it just like a one video for this. I'm probably gonna throw these in the mix. I want to read more like manga and graphic novels. I used to read a lot of them. Like I have a few Junji Ito books, and I don't know, I just kind of like stopped. Again, I'm a mood reader, and lately I've just been like pulled to read manga and graphic novels. So I'm definitely gonna make more content about that as well. And yeah, I think that is all the updates I'm gonna give you guys. I think I just want to say real quick, thank you guys so much for supporting me. I'm at 77 subscribers right now, and that means a lot. I hope you guys are enjoying the content, and I'm really excited for 2025. I have so many fun ideas that I want to film for you guys. I think they'll be really fun. And yeah, without further ado, let's tier rank my 2024 reads. We're here. We're ready to tier rank all of my 2024 reads. So I actually, I was checking my Goodreads to get all, the pictures of the books I've read. And I'm wrong, it's not 32 books I've read, it's 31. For some reason, Goodreads counted Slain the Vampire Conqueror twice. I don't know how to fix that on Goodreads. I, messed around the settings. I don't know, I think it was some sort of glitch. I don't know why it counted it twice. So technically, we're going to be ranking 31 books. And yeah, so these are the names of my tier ranks. It starts from, S tier to bottom tier. For S tier, I have Changed Me on a Molecular Level. Those are like my 5-star reads, or the reads that like changed me. It changed who I am as a person to my core. Like my DNA was changed, my cells were rebirthed. I'm a completely different person after reading this book. You know what? Hell yeah. Those are 4-star reads. Because, hell yeah, if the book was good, it was good, Like, I thought that was a good tier name for that one. And then it was alright. Like, it was alright. Like, it was mid. It was whatever. It didn't change me. It's not, like, something I'm going to remember, like, next year or whatever. So that's, like, mid-tier 3-star reads. And then I have the 2-star reads, which is, honey, what is this? Basically, what the fuck was this? And then I have 1-star / DNF, which is jail. You wasted my time. This book was terrible. You deserve jail time. So these are my rankings. And then I know that I've, rated some stars like or rated some books like 3.5 or 4.5 or whatever, I'm going to put those in tiers that I feel like I'm going to go off of vibes with those. If I feel like this was a 3.5 star read, if I ranked a book 3.5 stars, but the vibe that I'm getting is, you know what, hell yeah, I'll put it in the you know what, hell yeah tier. If the book was, I don't know, a 4-star read, but the more I'm thinking about it and it was like, all right, I'll put it in the it was all right tier. So I'm not only going off of the star rating, but vibes as well. Because, you know, thoughts change, opinions change throughout the year. So let's get started. I'm going in chronological order of what I read from January up until now. So the 4 books that I read before I started BookTube were Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Ruthless Vows, and Bride. I still wanted to add it to the tier ranking because it you know, it is part of the books I read throughout the year. I am still working my way through Throne of Glass. It's a 9-book series, and then the later books are like over 600 to 700 pages long. So yeah, I'm still working through that. But with that being said, I read Heir of Fire in January, and it was a, you know what? Hell yeah. It was good. Quick fact, I actually DNF'd Throne of Glass the first time I tried reading it. That seems to be the pattern with Sarah J. Maas books. The first time I try to get into it, I don't like it and I DNF it. But the reason why I go back to it is because I have friends who are like, oh, it's so good and give it a try. And it's just like, I don't know what it is about Sarah J. Maas books. It's like the first book is not good, but then the rest of the series is good. I don't know, it's weird. So I DNF'd Throne of Glass the first time because I was trying to read it in preparation for the Crescent City series, and I pushed myself to read Throne of Glass again, and I actually really enjoyed Heir of Fire. I DNF'd Heir of Fire the first time because I got to Heir of Fire 3 or 4 years ago. I wasn't in the mood for it. I picked it up again this January. I really liked it. Manon Blackbeak, if y'all know, that's my girl. And speaking of Manon, she plays a big part in Queen of Shadows. She's my favorite character. She's literally the star of the books. I know it's supposed to be, what's her face? Ooh, I was about to say a spoiler. The main character, Kalina? The main character. Obviously, she's the main character, right? But Manon, I don't know, y'all. If y'all have read the Throne of Glass series, you know what I'm talking about. To me, Manon Blackbeak is the star of the show. I wish there was just a series about her because I love her so much. Anyways, Ruthless Vows. So before I rank this, I want to give you guys a little quick backstory. I read Divine Rivals in, what year is this? I read Divine Rivals in 2023. Absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite books. I thought it was so beautiful, beautifully written. And then Ruthless Vows came out. Jail. I DNF'd this book. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna try to be nice, y'all. That book was not good. It went in a direction that I freaking hated. And it's so funny because a lot of the people were asking the author to expand the world building from book 1, because in book 1, like, the world building and the lore was so good. And obviously it's a romantasy, so we're focusing on the romance more than the fantasy aspect of it. But it was so good and it was so unique that people asked for more of that world building. And the author did deliver it in book 2, but at the expense of the romance and the main characters. Unfortunately, in the second book, everybody was just a cardboard cutout. Nobody from book 1 had a personality. We were focusing on characters that, I don't know, we focus on characters that didn't need to be focused on, and the direction of the story just went south for me personally. There was a lot of people who loved Ruthless Vows. I thought it was a beautiful book. I'm so happy for y'all. This book pissed me off. I DNF'd it. Jail. Bride by Ali Hazelwood. It was I think on Goodreads I gave it 4 stars. But now that I think about it, and you know, I feel like, and you know, reading more monster romances, I feel like I read more monster romances this year. Bride felt more of a contemporary romance with vampires and werewolves. Like, Ali Hazelwood, if you're not familiar with her work, I've never read any of her work because she's like a Raylo fan fiction writer, or not a fan fiction writer. The her books have Raylo fanfic in it, if I'm making sense. If you don't know what Raylo is, it's Ray from Star Wars and whatever his name is. Kylo Ren. Okay. I forgot his name. Yeah, it's like if you don't know what Raylo is, it's like from the new Star Wars trilogy. It's Ray from Star Wars, and it's like shipping Ray with Kylo Ren. So that's where the Raylo fanfiction comes in. And I don't know if all her work is like that, but she had one book that popped off that is Raylo fanfic, and all of her other books are more contemporary. So I was excited for Bride. I am not personally into Ali Hazelwood's work, but I was excited for Bride because, you know, I'm a monster romance girly and I've heard nothing but good things about Ali Hazelwood, even though she's not my cup of tea. So I was like, I'm gonna give her a chance through Bride. I read it. At the time I read it 4 stars, but again, after reading more monster romances, Bride was, again, more of a contemporary romance with monsters in it. So it was all right. It was all right. Comparing this book to all the other monster romances, it was all right. I had fun with it. There were some moments where, like, I laughed, and there were some other moments where I'm like, okay. But I do recommend it if you want to read it. If you're new to monster romances, I feel like Bride would be a good start. Yeah. Yes. That time I got drunk and saved a demon. Changed me on a molecular level. Kimberly Lemming has cemented herself as one of my favorite authors. She is so funny. Like, she does such a good job balancing humor and world building and romance. Like, if y'all have not read the trilogy, what are you doing? What are you doing? That was a 5-star read for me. Oh my God. Magnolia Parks. Jail. You know, I try not to be mean. I really try not to be mean to people and people's reading tastes. I really don't. Because everybody, you know, everybody has different reading tastes. You like what you like, whatever. But I truly do not understand Magnolia Parks because it has the cheating trope. Like, Magnolia Parks, and it's not a spoiler, by the way. It is something you learn in the first 10 pages that this bitch gets cheated on repeatedly by BJ Valentine, the boyfriend in the fucking book. It's literally 400 pages of, like, trauma because she just gets cheated on repeatedly, and then, like, you have to go through this cycle with her, and it's just like, bitch, stand the fuck up. This shit gave me hypertension, and then it gave me PTSD and jail. Like, prison, throw the key away, jail. If y'all love Magnolia Parks, good for you. I'm happy for you, but this book genuinely pissed me off. Okay? It pissed me off. Normal People by Sally Rooney. It was alright. It was alright. I was debating about, you know what, hell yeah, and it was alright because I like Sally Rooney's writing in this book. I thought it was really good, and the themes that were explored were also really, really good. But respectfully, it was still forgettable to me, but I still want to, like, explore more of her books because her writing was really good. So yeah, it was mid, but her writing is good. But I'm gonna put it in the it's alright tier. And then we got the time we got drunk and you did a love potion. I'm gonna put in the hell yeah. Okay, so I did rate this 5 stars, but it wasn't it changed me on a molecular level. I still love it. 5-star read, but for me it's more of a, you know what, hell yeah, because I don't know, so something about book one just changed me. But I still love that time I got drunk and yeeted a love potion at a werewolf. It's still so good. You know what? No, I'm gonna change it to, because these two books were just so good. It was just so good. Disregard what I said. We're leaving it right here. One Dark Window. If you know, you know. If you know the struggle that I went through with this book, you know. I'm going to put it in the it was alright, because it was alright. I think at first I might have rated this 4 stars, and I also updated my Goodreads review. I was a little nervous ranking this 3 stars because everybody and their mama loved this book. So this was, I'm gonna be honest, this was one book review I wasn't fully honest with myself about this because I was a little nervous to be the outlier. But now I'm just like, no, we're gonna be, I'm not saying I lied in all of my other reviews. This one just had me very confused. I thought that the idea, to me personally, was unique. The atmosphere was beautiful, but there were other cons in the book. Like the romance between her and Raven were just, it was not, I didn't like it. I didn't think there was any chemistry, and I just wish the magic was more fleshed out. Yeah, it's just like, maybe a 3.5. Like, I'm still, this book is so confusing to me. I genuinely don't know where to rank it. Like, I'm stuck, like, I don't want to give it anything below 3 stars because I don't think it's anything below 3 stars, but I don't want to give it a 4-star read because I'm like, so it's like between 3 to 3.5. It was all right. It was, yeah, I had a lot of questions about this one, but I'm gonna leave it here for now. But moving on, that time I got drunk and saved a human. This one I know I rave about the trilogy a lot and I highly recommend it, but I will say the third book was a little weaker than the other two. In my spirit, it's not a you know what, hell yeah. Because when I finished the book, I didn't have that feeling of, oh my God, it was so good. I was a little disappointed because the direction of how the book went at the end, this might be a personal thing. It is a personal thing because it's an opinion, obviously. But I just had like an idea in my brain how the book was going to end, and it didn't go that way. And it's not the author's fault, obviously. She's the one writing the story. But I don't know, the ending was a little lackluster for me, and the romance between the two characters wasn't as strong as the other ones. Damn, maybe I should have put like another, let me put another tier. What should I name this tier? It was pretty good with some flaws. I'm gonna add this tier because it was good. It was good with some flaws. That's how I feel about One Dark Window and how the time I got drunk and saved a human. Because with One Dark Window, like I was saying earlier, I have issues with that book. But the world building and the atmosphere, everything, the premise was so unique to me. I just feel like it's not fair if I put it in the midsection. And then same goes with That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human. I don't think it belongs in the mid tier. So I'm gonna add that tier. Okay. Anyways, I knew I was gonna be rambling and yapping, y'all. This is the mind of a person that does not shut the fuck up. You're welcome. Two Twisted Crowns, jail. Easy, 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 easy. So I have beef with Two Twisted Crowns. Without spoiling anything, and it sucks because the last chapter or second to last chapter made me emotional because, you know, the way things wrap up. But the way, the direction that this book went pissed me off. And then how do you make your main character just a background character? That made me so mad. And there was just so many things in this book that pissed me off. So yeah, if you are a big fan of the duology, I'm so sorry, but I have mad beef with Two Twisted Crowns. Okay, no. Anyways, the Serpent in the Wings of Night. I love this book so much. That was such a good book. That changed me on a molecular level. Yeah, I was sucked in the whole time. I was no complaints. Literally 10/10, no complaints, no notes. I loved Aurea and Rain. It was flawless. That book was flawless. The ending had me crying and screaming, like literally crying and screaming. My roommate is a vampire. Honey, what is this? This was a disappointing read. Honestly, it gives the same vibes as Bride, contemporary romance, but with monsters. And it was cute at first. It was cute. And then that stupid conflict at the last 20% ruined the whole book for me. And yeah. I remember like being interested in reading book 2, but then I saw the reviews come out for book 2 and I was like, you know what? It's fine. I don't need to read everything that comes out. We're abandoning ship for this series. We're moving on. 6 Scorched Roses. You know what? Hell yeah. No notes. 4 stars. It was a 4-star read. I had a good time with this one. This one was good. Short and sweet. To the point. Butcher and Blackbird, jail. Yeah, so I DNF'd Butcher and Blackbird. I know this is like TikTok's sweetheart in the dark romance genre. I know I've said this before. I know I've said this earlier in the vlog. I'm not a really big fan of dark romance. This book was not for me. I did like the serial killing aspect of it, but everything else just fell flat for me. I feel like the chemistry wasn't there. The romance wasn't romancing for me. It's also supposed to be a rom-com, but I was not cracking up. Like, Lights Out had me cracking up at work. Kicking and giggling, cracking up. Butcher and Blackbird, just straight face the whole time. I'm like, those are my thoughts. Funny story, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. Serpent in the Wings of Night and Funny Story, which are 2 very different books on the spectrum, are literally fighting against each other on my favorite book of the year. I love Funny Story so much. I cried a few times reading Funny Story. I related to the main character Daphne so much because she, like, not to trauma dump or whatever, but in the book she fights with the feelings that she's had like almost her whole life, and that's like feeling that she isn't loved and always picks second, that she's always picked second in life. Like, no one thinks about her first, no one loves her first, like she's just an afterthought. And that's something I've struggled with a lot growing up. And I'm not saying like I'm healed from it. I have moments like that too, but it's not as extreme as it was when I was younger. And just reading about Daphne and her struggles with, like, her internal struggles with that, just, I guess, opened up old wounds and just like made me think back about like me growing up as, as a kid and teenager and having a hard time with friendships, and just like, oh my god, it is so good. Oh, it's so good. And it's like my second Emily Henry book. I read what's that one book, A Happy Place, last year or something, and I DNF'd it. I did not like that book, but oh my god, Funny Story. If y'all have not read Funny Story, if you're into contemporary romance, please, because it's not just like romance, like it's literary fiction as well, because it just explores so many themes about friendship, family. I love that book so much. Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. It was alright. I took this book on a family cabin trip over the summer, and looking into Rachel Harrison's work, I realized, because I thought she was a horror author, but she's more of a literary fiction writer or author that has some horror elements, but the horror elements are very superficial, like very like face value. they never blow up into anything else. I read like synopses and reviews of her other books because I didn't know if this is an author I wanted to explore her works. I'm not saying I'm completely like putting her on the chopping block, but this is an author I'm going to be a little wary of, like with her other books, because I am kind of curious about her other works. I don't know. It's just, I was expecting horror. It was an okay read. Ashes and Star, Chris King. It was good with some flaws. So this is another one, like One Dark Window, where I don't know if I'm being honest with my rating. I think I have it as 4 stars on Goodreads, but I don't know if it's 4-star material, but it's not anything below 3. This one's also confusing because it was good. It's definitely more political than romantic. In the first book was the yearning, the pining is all there. The second book is just anger, angst, hatred, which is fine because the way shit happens in book 1, it makes sense. But it's very political as well. Like very, very fantasy politics are involved. And it kind of like took away from just the romance aspect from book 1. And some parts did drag. Like near the end, I was like, oh my God, like, please wrap this up. Like I was saying, it's there with One Dark Window. It was good, but there were some flaws. Oh my God, this one's so random. So in case you haven't watched my other vlogs, my husband and I went to the beach, and we were like, I was buddy reading Project Hail Mary, which is going to be an S tier, Change Me on a Molecular Level. I was buddy reading this with one of my besties, and I've been told that the audiobook is so good. So I was like 3 or 4 chapters in, and I was telling my husband about the book. And he's like, well, why don't we just listen to the audiobook instead of music? So we literally listened to it on the way to the beach and on the way back. And my husband and I, we both loved this book so much. Even my bestie, he finished it too. He was like, we were both emotional. Like we literally got emotional talking about it together. It's such a good book. And it honestly made me be like, I should probably read more sci-fi. This was a spectacular book. It was really good. Definitely a book you want to listen to, not physically read, listen to. I mean, unless you're not really into audiobooks, and I mean, obviously, like, physically read it. But Project Hail Mary, that shit changed me on a molecular level. It was so good. Like, I was left, like, speechless at the end of the book. It was so good. Thrum. Honey, what is this? I was trying to chase that sci-fi high after Project Hail Mary, and then this book dropped, and it was supposed to be a mix of sci-fi, horror, romance, thriller, mystery, whatever, like all that genre into one. And it's a novella, and I think it's like either below 200 or at 200 pages. And I was a little skeptical at first because I'm just like, how are we going to tackle all of these subgenres in 200 pages? And I was right. The beginning was strong. I will say it did give that sci-fi vibe. The beginning also reminded me of Project Hail Mary, how like both characters wake up and their crew members are, either asleep or not alive. And it's not spoilers. It's not spoilers for any book. It's like something you learn like the first 2 chapters. So yeah, Thrum started off strong. And then once she leaves the ship, that's when things start getting a little convoluted and it's not making sense to me anymore. And I was just not into it at all. And I predicted the ending and I was right. And I was like, okay. House of Hunger. It was good with some flaws. So this is my first Alexis Henderson book. And I have another one in my shelf that I'm gonna read, which is Year of the Witching. So I thought originally this book was about vampires. So there aren't necessarily vampires in the book. The rich people, I feel like, are an allegory for like consuming everything, because this book is more of, I guess, like an exploration of classism. So the themes of this book are really good. So we have classism, racism, I guess sacrificing who you are at your core to get what you want. The themes are good, but I just feel like the characters felt flat for me and I wasn't really fully like gripped by the book. I still think the themes were good and the writing was good. So that's why I'm gonna put it in the it was good with some flaws. Whispers of the Deep. You know what? Hell yeah. That was a good book. That was a good book. It delivered. If you've played BioShock, that's how I got convinced to read this. One of the booktubers I listened to or watch, she was like, oh, if you like BioShock, this is for you. And I was like sold because BioShock is one of my favorite video games. So I'm like, yeah, we're gonna read this. And it was great. It was fun. The atmosphere was good. I love the both merman and female character, and the world building is really good. Yeah, do not sleep on monster romances. I know I said this before, I'm gonna say it again. Don't, because the world building, most of the time, they're really good. Like, really good world building, really good lore. Irregular Society of Witches. Jail. Yeah, so it's a cozy romance, and it was boring, and the plot twist, I want, like, when I say jail, the plot twist that happens in the book, literally everyone except for the main character needed to go to prison. That's all I'm gonna say. And she forgave everybody way too quickly. I would have called 911 right there. I'd have been like, yeah, no. Police, hurry up and arrest everybody. Song of the Abyss. It was good with some flaws. So it was good, but it wasn't as strong as Whispers of the Deep. I feel like I didn't understand the importance of the female main character. She's the daughter of the mayor of one of the underwater cities, and it was like she's like super important, blah blah blah. But I still don't understand her importance. It's not really well explored, and the sense of urgency isn't there like it is in book one. And I did like the chemistry of these characters more than I liked book one. It's just, I don't know, the book overall wasn't as strong as book one. Fourth Wing. You know what? Hell yeah. It was in the all right section for a while, and then you hit that last 20%, and I was like, what the fuck? That was crazy. You know what? Hell yeah. So, yeah, Fourth Wing is going right there. Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. Same. You know what? Hell yeah. Carissa Broadbent. That's another one. That is another one that has not failed me yet. She has not. I mean, I know they can't all be bangers, so, you know, I'm waiting on that day where I do read one where I'm like, damn, Carissa, what happened? But for now, she hasn't failed me. She's one of my favorite authors. Her and Kimberly Lemming, they're up there with being one of my favorite authors. It was amazing. No notes. Never Lie. Honey, what is this? So, it was entertaining. Okay, I think I gave this a 3-star read. I put it in this section because the last 20% with all those damn ridiculous ass plot twists that made no fucking sense, that shit happened. And I literally, when I went on Goodreads after I finished this, I literally said, what the fuck is this? Because what is this? Did I still have a good time? Yes. But my question still stands, and that is, what the hell did I read? Dark Shade of Magic changed me on a molecular level. It was so good. That was a good ass book. That was so good. Lights Out. You know what? Hell yeah. Like I stated earlier in this vlog, even though that 20% did go in a different direction, I still had a great time. It was so hot. It was so sexy. I'm really excited to see where book 2 is gonna go, especially with like the whole criminal stuff being added into it. So yes, that's a good one. Ice Planet Barbarians. You know what? Hell yeah. Rated it 4 stars on my first read. Rated it 4 stars again on my second read. I fucking love Ice Planet Barbarians. Enough said. Mistletoe. You know what? Hell yeah. I had a good time. It was 86 pages, 86, 87 pages of a good ass time. That's it. We finished tier ranking all of my 31 books that I read this year. My Goodreads stats is actually really interesting. So I've read 11,702 pages. I think this might be incorrect because my Goodreads is still saying that I read 32 books. Again, I don't know how to fix that. So the shortest book I read, which this is incorrect because, well, I guess the Kindle version is 60 pages for Mistletoe, but the physical copy that I have is like 87 pages. And then for Ashes of Star Cursed King, it's 665 pages. So that was the longest book. Average book length in 2024, 365 pages. My average rating for 2024 was 3.5 stars. That's not surprising because a lot of these books piss me off. And yeah, I just want to show you guys that stats. And yeah, here we go, guys. This is all the 31 books I read this year. I'm excited for 2025. I'm excited about all the books that we're gonna read, all the videos I'm gonna create. And thank you guys so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And yeah, cheers to 2025. And I'll see you guys next year. Take care. Bye.